Every year, Americans spend billions on bags of fertilizer and haul mountains of scraps out to a compost pile that takes half a year to cook. But here's the secret the garden centers won't tell you. Your plants can eat for free, right where they grow. No pile, no turning, no plastic bottles of blue chemicals, just stuff you're already throwing away. So grab a shovel and let's dig in. Number 1. Bury your scraps right where the roots are. Here's the method that makes compost bins look like a waste of time. It's called trench composting, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You dig a hole about 12 inches deep, drop in your banana peels, coffee grounds, carrot tops, and wilted lettuce, then cover it back up with soil. That's the whole thing. Now here's the part that'll blow your mind. In an open compost pile, a huge chunk of the nitrogen literally floats away into the air as gas before you ever get to use it. But when you bury those scraps, the surrounding soil grabs onto that nitrogen and holds it right there in the root zone. You lose almost nothing. The worms and microbes that already live in your dirt do all the work for you, turning yesterday's dinner into the richest plant food on the planet. University extension programs actually recommend this as the lowest effort composting method for home gardens, and for good reason. Because it's happening underground, there's no smell, and burying scraps 8 to 12 inches deep keeps raccoons, rats, and nosy dogs from ever finding them. And get this, it even works through winter. When your outdoor bin freezes solid and stops breaking anything down, the soil, just a few inches below the surface, stays warm enough that decomposition keeps chugging along. Dig your holes in late fall while the ground is still soft, and you've got a feeding system that runs all year long. Number 2, grow plants that mine the deep earth for you. This one sounds like science fiction, but it's completely real. There's a group of plants that gardeners call dynamic accumulators, and they act like living straws that suck minerals up from deep in the subsoil, depths your vegetables' roots could never reach. The king of them all is comfrey. Its taproot can plunge several feet down, pulling up potassium, calcium, and trace minerals, then storing all of it in those big leafy green leaves. In fact, comfrey leaves can contain 2 to 3 times more potassium than farmyard manure. Stinging nettle and humble dandelions do the same trick, hauling up calcium, iron, and nitrogen from below. So how do you get that treasure into your garden? It's called chop and drop, and it's beautifully lazy. You simply cut the leaves off a few times a season and lay them right on the soil around your tomatoes, peppers, or fruit trees. As those mineral-packed leaves rot down, they release a slow, steady feast of nutrients exactly where your plants need it. No bag, no cost, no effort. For the biggest punch, cut the leaves just before the plant flowers. That's when the nutrient levels inside are at their absolute peak. Plant one comfrey patch in a corner of your yard, and you'll have a free, renewable fertilizer factory that comes back stronger every single year. Number 3, stop bagging your grass clippings. You might be throwing away one of the best free fertilizers on earth every single weekend. When you mow your lawn and bag up those clippings for the curb, you're literally hauling money to the landfill. Fresh grass clippings are about 4% nitrogen. That's the exact nutrient that makes lawns lush and green, plus a healthy dose of potassium and phosphorus. According to university research, simply leaving your clippings on the lawn can supply anywhere from 25 to 50% of everything your grass needs to thrive. Cut your fertilizer bill in half by doing less work. It doesn't get better than that. Now, a lot of people worry this will cause thatch or make their lawn look messy. It won't. Grass clippings are about 80% water, so they wilt down and vanish into the soil in as little as 1 to 2 weeks, feeding billions of hungry soil microbes on the way. And this trick isn't just for your lawn. Grab a handful of those fresh clippings and spread them as a thin mulch around your vegetable beds. They'll lock in moisture, smother weeds, and drip a steady stream of nitrogen straight down to the roots as they break down. Just keep the layer thin, an inch or so it doesn't turn into a slimy mat. Free nitrogen, delivered by your lawnmower. Number 4, plant a fish under your corn. This might be the oldest trick in the American gardening book, and it works almost embarrassingly well. Long before the Pilgrims arrived, Native American growers were burying a single fish beneath each mound of corn, and it's the very technique famously credited to Squanto for helping the Plymouth colonists survive. The reason is simple: a whole fish is nature's slow-release fertilizer. As it decomposes underground, it releases a rich, complete package of nitrogen, phosphorus, calcium, and trace minerals, a far broader menu than the nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus you get from a store-bought bag. Oily fish like menhaden, or even the scraps and heads left over from cleaning your catch, are perfect for the job. The method couldn't be easier. Dig a hole about a foot deep, drop in your fish or fish scraps, and cover it with several inches of soil before planting your seed or seedling right on top. That depth is important. It keeps neighborhood cats, raccoons, and dogs from smelling the buffet and digging up your garden overnight. Corn, tomatoes, squash, and other heavy feeders absolutely love this. By the time the plant's roots grow down to reach it, the fish has broken into a concentrated pocket of nutrition waiting right there in the soil. It's an ancient hack that turns fish waste into a bumper harvest. Number 5, use your own liquid gold. Okay, this one makes people squirm, but stay with me because it might be the most powerful free fertilizer you'll ever have access to, and the science backing it is surprisingly solid. Human urine is packed with nitrogen, along with phosphorus and potassium, the exact 3 nutrients in commercial fertilizer. From a healthy person, fresh urine is essentially sterile, and researchers have found it works so well that plants fertilized with it can produce yields rivaling chemical fertilizer. One study even found urine-fed tomatoes had a significantly higher protein content, with taste testers unable to tell the difference. The catch is that it's potent, so you have to dilute it. For most plants, mix roughly 1 part urine to 10 parts water. Heavy nitrogen feeders like sweet corn and leafy greens can handle a stronger blend. Then pour it onto the soil at the base of the plant, never on the leaves, and never on tiny seedlings, which are too tender for that much nitrogen. Organizations like the Rich Earth Institute in Vermont have turned this into a whole pea cycling movement, and the numbers are staggering. One adult produces enough in a year to fertilize hundreds of square feet of crops. It's free, it's endless, and it's flushing down your toilet every single day. Just avoid using it if you're on medications, and keep it off anything you'll eat raw. Your wallet and your garden will thank you. Number 6, sprinkle ash from your fireplace. If you've got a wood-burning fireplace or fire pit, you're sitting on a bucket of free potassium and calcium every winter. Instead of tossing those cold ashes in the trash, you can feed them straight to your garden. Wood ash contains anywhere from 5 to 8% potassium. That is the nutrient that drives strong flowers, fruit, and root growth, plus a hefty amount of calcium and traces of phosphorus, magnesium, and micronutrients. Calcium, by the way, is the exact fix for blossom end rot, that frustrating black mush that ruins the bottom of your tomatoes and peppers. But here is the crucial part most people get wrong. Wood ash also acts like lime and raises your soil's pH, and it does it fast because it is water-soluble. That is fantastic if your soil is too acidic, but it can wreck acid-loving plants. So keep wood ash far away from blueberries, azaleas, rhododendrons, and potatoes, since a high pH triggers potato scab. For everything else, a light dusting worked into the soil is perfect. A good rule of thumb is no more than about 15 to 20 pounds per 1,000 square feet in a year. And only ever use ash from clean, untreated wood. Never charcoal briquettes, painted wood, or anything with chemicals. Test your soil first if you can, then let your chimney fertilize your garden for free. Number 7, dig coffee grounds straight into the dirt. Americans brew around 400 million cups of coffee a day, which means a mountain of used grounds gets thrown out every morning. But those soggy grounds are a genuine soil superfood, and you can feed them to your plants directly. Used coffee grounds are roughly 2% nitrogen, and as they break down, they release it slowly into the soil. Here's a myth worth busting though. People always assume grounds are super acidic, but the acid is largely water-soluble and washes out during brewing. Used brewed grounds end up close to neutral, which means they're safe for far more plants than the internet would have you believe. The real magic is what they do for your soil life. Earthworms are absolutely obsessed with coffee grounds. They'll pull them down and turn them into rich castings, aerating and enriching your dirt in the process. The grounds also improve soil structure, helping it hold the perfect balance of water and air. To use them, just scratch a thin layer into the top inch or two of soil around your plants, or toss them into one of those burial holes from tip number 1. Keep the layer thin, because a thick pile of wet grounds can form a crust that repels water. Sprinkle, mix, and let the worms carry your morning coffee down to the roots. Number 8. Chop and bury banana peels. Don't you dare throw that banana peel in the trash. It's one of the richest sources of free potassium you can hand your plants. And potassium is the nutrient that fuels big blooms and heavy fruit. Banana peels are loaded with potassium, along with useful amounts of phosphorus, calcium, and magnesium. That combination is like a natural bloom booster, which is why flowering and fruiting plants like roses, tomatoes, and peppers respond so well to them. Some gardeners even swear that burying peels around roses helps keep aphids away. The trick to making them work is speed. A whole peel takes ages to break down, so chop it into small pieces first. The smaller you cut it, the faster the soil microbes can dismantle it and free up those nutrients. Then simply bury the chopped peel a few inches down near the base of your plant, where the roots can grab the goodness as it releases. Bananas actually break down faster than a lot of other kitchen scraps, which means the nutrients become available quicker than you'd expect. So the next time you finish a banana, don't toss the peel, chop it, bury it, and let your fruit trees and flowers cash in on the potassium you were about to throw away. Number 9. Grow a crop that pulls fertilizer out of thin air. This one truly sounds impossible. Certain plants can grab nitrogen straight out of the air and pump it into your soil, completely free. These are called nitrogen-fixing cover crops, and they're basically living fertilizer factories. The secret is a partnership. Legumes, plants like clover, vetch, field peas, beans, and alfalfa team up with special bacteria called rhizobium that live in little nodules on their roots. Those bacteria capture nitrogen gas from the atmosphere, which makes up about 78% of the very air we breathe, and convert it into a form plants can actually use. It's a natural chemistry set happening right under your feet. Here's how you cash in. In the fall or in any empty patch of garden, scatter a cheap packet of clover or field pea seeds and let them grow. They'll blanket the bare soil, choke out weeds, and quietly stockpile nitrogen the whole time. Some research shows a good clover cover can slash the amount of added nitrogen a plot needs by more than half. Then, before they flower, you simply chop the plants down and either leave them on the surface as mulch or turn them into the top layer of soil. As they rot, they hand off all that harvested nitrogen, plus a big boost of organic matter, to whatever you plant next. You're literally growing your own fertilizer from air and sunshine. Number 10, ferment your food. Scrap's the Japanese way. If you want to feed your soil kitchen waste that a normal compost pile cannot handle, like meat, dairy, and cooked leftovers, this ancient Japanese method is the answer. It is called bokashi, and instead of rotting your scraps, it pickles them. Here's how it works. You layer food scraps in a sealed bucket with a special inoculated bran that is coated in beneficial microbes. With the air sealed out, those microbes ferment the waste, the same basic process that makes sauerkraut or kimchi. In about 2 weeks, everything is pickled into a preserved, nutrient-dense mass that has not lost its nutrients to the air. But you do not eat this, your garden does. Once it is fermented, you dig a trench and bury the whole batch directly in the soil. Because the material is already broken down at a microbial level, it disappears into the ground astonishingly fast, often in just 2 to 4 weeks, releasing a concentrated shot of nutrients into the root zone. There is one thing to watch. Fresh bokashi is quite acidic when you first bury it, so give it a couple of weeks in the soil before you plant right on top of that spot. Do that, and you've got a system that turns absolutely all your food waste, even the stuff no compost pile wants, into powerful, free plant food buried right where it counts. Number 11. Water your plants with leftover cooking water. Here's a free feeding you're probably pouring down the drain several times a week. When you boil or steam vegetables, potatoes, or eggs, a portion of their minerals leaches out into the water. That cloudy pot of used water is actually a mild, nutrient-rich plant tonic. Vegetable cooking water carries dissolved potassium, phosphorus, and other trace minerals that escape from the food while it cooked. The water you boil eggs in picks up a little calcium from the shells, and starchy water from potatoes or pasta contains carbohydrates that feed the hungry beneficial microbes living in your soil, helping the whole underground ecosystem thrive. Using it couldn't be simpler. Let the water cool completely to room temperature, because pouring boiling water on roots will cook them, and then just pour it around the base of your plants like a normal watering. You're hydrating and feeding in a single step with zero extra effort. One critical rule, though: it only works if the water is unsalted. Salt is toxic to plants and will build up in your soil over time, so never use water you've salted for pasta or seasoned for cooking. Keep a jug by the sink, save your plain cooking water, and give your garden a free mineral drink instead of watching it swirl down the drain. So there you have it, 11 ways to feed your plants for free, no compost pile, and no fertilizer bags required. Pick just one and give it a try this week. Your garden will show you the difference. Thanks for watching. If this video dug up some useful ideas, hit that like button and share it with a fellow gardener. And subscribe with notifications on so you never miss a video.